Hey lads, welcome to Halo Explained. In this video we'll be exploring the Halo universe and the timeline of events leading all the way up to Halo 3. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. The origin of the UNSC. In the years 2160 and 2200, various governments and factions fought for control of Earth and its first colonies. As overpopulation and unrest on Earth mounted, the new political movements formed Jovian, Friedan, and Kolsloviks, led by Vladimir Kolslov. Resurgences of fascism and neo-communism which waged the interplanetary rainforest wars and Mars clashes, and were defeated by the United Nations Space Command, who emerged as the rulers of at least most of humanity. The Insurrection and the Spartan II project. While the UNSC became the governing body for most of human space, they never fully defeated various rebel groups. By the year 2517, due to the ongoing near-civil war dubbed the Insurrection, in order to remove the rebellion without a significant sacrifice of human life, a Dr. Catherine Halsey moved towards the Spartan II project. 75 gifted children were abducted and replaced by Flash clones and drafted into the UNSC. The children went through vigorous training and physical augmentation. Codenamed Spartans, these genetically enhanced troopers were trained from the age of 6 into a life of battle and would become a great asset against the rebels, and from the year 2525, the Covenant. The Human Covenant War begins. On February 3, 2525, the UEG colony on Harvest detected an unknown object on its long-range radar. The object was constructed with materials unlike anything seen before. All contact with Harvest was lost soon after. Ships sent to the system revealed that it was destroyed by an alien group, the Covenant. A battle group was sent, but was defeated by the technologically superior Covenant ships. Only one ship made it back, the CMA Heracles. They returned with a message that was sent to them, pre-translated, saying, quote, "Your destruction is the will of the gods and we are their instrument," end quote. In response, Vice Admiral Preston Cole mobilized the largest space fleet in human history to retake Harvest. The fleet defeated the Covenant ships at Harvest in 2531, but at great cost, with Cole losing 2/3 of his fleet. The highly advanced Covenant shielding and weapon systems simply outclassed anything they had, and so began the slow destruction of the human race. One by one, UNSC colonies were lost until by 2535, virtually all the outer colony worlds had been destroyed by the Covenant and the inner colonies were being invaded. The Cole Protocol was established by military order. All human vessels must ensure that Covenant forces do not find Earth. To achieve this, whenever they must jump out of a battle, they must do so to a randomized vector that points away from any human worlds. The Fall of Reach. By 2552, many of humanity's inner colonies had been destroyed by the Covenant. The UNSC leadership assembled a strike team, including some Spartans, at the humanity's command base on planet Reach. In a move of desperation, the UNSC planned to launch a targeted strike against the Covenant leadership. This plan was abandoned when the Covenant launched a surprise attack on the world of Reach. During this battle, most of Reach is overturned and glassed, and the human fleet obliterated. John 117 is able to escape on the ship UNSC Pillar of Autumn, along with her crew. In fleeing the Covenant fleet, the Autumn's onboard AI, Cortana, uses some coordinates from a recently installed Forerunner artifact that leads them straight to the Forerunner's installation 04. Alpha Halo. The Pillar of Autumn exits slip space to find a mysterious ring-shaped space station orbiting the gas giant Threshold. The ring, referred to by the Covenant as Halo, is an artificial construct that is teeming with life. A Covenant fleet, however, is also present, and a subsequent battle heavily damages the UNSC Pillar of Autumn, and the ship crash lands onto Halo. The first Halo game begins in earnest with John 117's escape from the Autumn, and continues upon landing. The first levels of the game deal with an attempt to reach Halo's control center to uncover its purpose. It is soon discovered that the Covenant have accidentally released the Flood, a parasitic alien species. The Floods sweep across Halo, devastating human and Covenant forces positioned on it. The release of the Flood prompts 343 Guilty Spark, an eccentric Forerunner AI, to try to activate Halo's defensive system, a pulse weapon that, when fired, could wipe out all sentient life in the galaxy large enough to be hosts for the Flood. Technically, that installation only has a maximum effect radius of 25,000 light years, but the pulse would trigger other installations as well, effectively killing all intelligent life in the galaxy. This system is designed to stop the Flood from spreading through the universe if they escape confinement from Halo by the only way possible, starving the Flood of any life source that can sustain them. Naturally, this would wipe out humanity as well, and so the final levels of the game revolve around John 117's attempts to destroy Halo before it fires by self-destructing the POA. Despite the abuse sustained during the space battle and the fallen crash, the Pillar of Autumn remains intact, and was subsequently occupied by investigating Covenant forces and later by the Flood. Having manually triggered a destabilization of the power cores, John 117 and Cortana commandeered a longsword from one of the Pillar of Autumn's docking bays and achieved a safe minimum distance before the ship exploded, causing the ring world to fragment. Operation First Strike. This novel occurs between the first and second Halo games. Operation First Strike starts off with Master Chief and a few other survivors in space above the destroyed Halo. They capture a Covenant flagship and make their way back to Reach. When they arrive, they find most of the planet ravaged. Yet something is strange. The Covenant usually glasses a world and moves on, but there are small patches of the planet left unscathed. In an alternate storyline, we find out that other Spartans have found an ancient Forerunner structure under Oni's castle base. There, they find a crystal that warps space-time. Cortana, now in control of the Covenant ship, docks with a partially destroyed UNSC ship and combines their power. After toying around with the controls, she realizes that the Covenant know virtually nothing about the technology they possess. She redesigns the plasma cannon to fire more efficiently, increasing their destructive power. She also finds out how the Covenant moves so easily through slipspace. The technology she gathers could effectively turn the tide of the war. After going through many battles, John 117 and other Spartans discovered a massive plot to attack the Sol system. They covertly attack and destroy a massive Covenant refit and repair station, which in the end results in the destruction of an attack force many times larger than the one that attacked Reach. In doing so, they lose the Covenant flagship. However, they save the UNSC ship and escape back to Earth with it. Thus begins Halo 2. Delta Halo. The game starts with a Covenant attack on Earth. Master Chief begins on one of the 300 space defense platforms that orbit the planet. After repelling the Covenant boarding parties, the battle shifts to Earth's surface. A Covenant ship over the city of New Mombasa makes a desperate slip-space jump to escape. The UNSC ship in Amberclad manages to follow it. In an alternative storyline, the Arbiter, the disgraced elite commander of the fleet which was destroyed around the first Halo, crushes a movement which argues that the Covenant teachings are false. John 117 is transported to the vicinity of another Halo ring, the Delta Halo, on which they land. John manages to assassinate the Prophet of Regret, one of the Hierarchs. The Covenant ships bomb the area and John is last seen sinking in the water. At the same time, the Arbiter has been sent to the library to retrieve the Index, the key to activate Halo. Once there, he is betrayed by the Brutes, who reveal that the Prophets want the Brutes to take over the Elite's role in the Covenant. Both John and the Arbiter wake up in the hands, or rather the tentacles, of a Grave Mind, which is the highest form of the Flood. He sends them to two different places. John is sent to High Charity and the Arbiter to the control room, all in a desperate attempt to stop the rings from firing. John fights through High Charity, finding the body of the Prophet of Mercy, another Hierarch. He arrives too late to find the Index though, and decides to leave Cortana behind so that she can detonate High Charity if there is a chance of the ring firing. John escapes through the Forerunner's Dreadnought, which was in the center of the city. The Arbiter manages to find an Index and prevent the rings from firing. 343 Guilty Spark reveals that although the Index was removed before Delta Halo had time to complete its firing sequence, it sent signals to other Halos in the galaxy, putting them on standby mode. Now they can be activated remotely from the Ark, whose exact location is not revealed at this point. ODST. Halo 3 ODST tells the story of what happened after the Covenant slipspace jump that damaged the city New Mombasa in Halo 2. Prior to the slipspace rupture in Halo 2, a large number of ODSTs are destined to drop into the Covenant carrier that invaded Earth's orbital defenses. The drop is initiated, but the ODST squad of Gunnery Sergeant Edward Buck is commandeered by his superiors and former love interest Captain Veronica Dare of the Office of Naval Intelligence to drop into the city of New Mombasa as opposed to the Covenant carrier. The slipspace rupture causes the assault on the carrier to fail, and both Buck's and Dare's squads to scatter and land in different parts of the city. The rookie wakes about 6 hours later and must find his squad. He roams the city at night, discovering with the aid of the city's superintendent AI the fate of his fellow squad mates. He then picks up on Captain Dare's distress signal. The rookie fights his way into and through an underground facility where they meet up and continue to fight their way through a massive drone hive, weakened by the early detonation of an Oni building at the top of the shaft at the hands of Mickey and Dutch. They both fight their way to the Superintendent data core and discover a Covenant engineer, one of the many biological supercomputers and unwilling assistants to the Covenant, who has taken apart the Superintendent's memory core and possesses vital information on the Covenant. They, along with Buck, fight their way to the highway and then down it. They arrive at a building where they hold off waves of Covenant until Mickey, Dutch and Romeo arrive to pick them up. They arrive just before the Covenant prepare to blast their previous position, actually discovered to be an excavation project. They manage to escape just in time, only to realize that the Covenant has found what they were looking for. Battle of Onyx. The novel, which tells the story of the battle, begins with a group of Spartan 3s deploying to a Covenant fleet refueling depot on Pegasi Delta. They proceed to destroy the facility, but due to an unexpected heavy Covenant resistance, all but 2 of the 300 Spartan team is wiped out. The only survivors, Tom B292 and Lucy B091, are revealed to be only 12 years old, and Lucy is traumatized and rendered mute. The novel then cuts to a raid by the Spartan 2 Blue Team on a rebel base at Planet Victoria to recover stolen nuclear warheads. The team is nearly captured by a rebel ambush, but is saved by the timely, intuitive intervention of Kurt 051. Shortly afterward, the novel cuts to a meeting between the top leadership of ONI. In this meeting, they agree that the Spartan 2 program is prohibitively expensive, and that a more streamlined, quote-unquote disposable breed of Spartans must be trained for high-risk operations. Trained on the restricted planet of Onyx, the top 3 teams of the S3s, Gamma Company, Team Saber, Katana and Gladys, conduct a training exercise run into some previously undiscovered Forerunner Sentinels. Through a series of events, the Covenant are alerted to the existence of Onyx, and the human forces discover an ancient Forerunner city, and are guided into a massive dome by Halsey, who determines that the entire planet is a shield world, referred to by the Forerunners as the Sharpened Shield. Fighting off determined Covenant pursuers, they press on into the heart of the planet to discover that the planet is literally a massive bomb shelter for the Forerunners to survive the activation of the Halos. However, they find themselves alone in the vast habitat. For some reason, the Forerunners never entered this structure when the Halos were first activated. Kurt 051 stays behind to activate a pack of FNERIS warheads, thus killing himself, the Covenant pursuers, and obliterating Onyx. Late Battle of Earth and Insulation 00. Halo 3 takes place 2 weeks after the end of Halo 2. The Covenant have all but obliterated human resistance on Earth and have committed most of their forces in East Africa, near the ruins of Mombasa. Marines and the Arbiter recover John 117 after jumping from the Forerunner Dreadnought as it entered Earth's atmosphere, and they all make their way back to the local UNSC base, Crow's Nest. John 117 defends the base and is cut off, along with a small group of Marines. They make their way to the town of Voi along the Tsavo Highway, through numerous Covenant outposts. It is revealed that a large Forerunner artifact has been dug up under the African desert by the Covenant, and the Prophet of Truth is going to activate it. Presumably this is the Ark, so therefore this would activate the Halos, and so a hasty attack is set in motion by Lord Hood to destroy the Forerunner Dreadnought with a surprise aerial assault. Master Chief clears Voi of all Covenant anti-air to clear the path of Lord Hood's frigates for an assault on the Dreadnought. However, the assault on the Dreadnought has absolutely no effect, and Truth activates the artifact all the same. A large portal is created above the artifact, into which the Covenant forces disappear. Soon after, a derelict Covenant cruiser appears out of slip space and crashes nearby, infested with flood. John 117 and the Arbiter make their way towards the ship, and as they near its location, a group of elite-controlled cruisers appear, striking up an alliance with the humans and helping rid the city of flood. Master Chief enters the ship and retrieves a message from Cortana, warning that High Charity is heading to Earth, full of flood. It is decided that only the frigate, Forward onto Dawn, the ship of Miranda Keyes, along with the elites, will go through the portal after Truth, and stop him from activating the rings, as well as finding the solution to the flood that Cortana's message spoke of. The human elite forces arrive at the Ark and encourage the brute fleet. Master Chief makes landfall and finds the cartographer of the Ark, which leads him to the location of the remaining Covenant Loyalist forces at the Citadel. This leads to a trident strike at the 3 shield generators guarding the Citadel at the heart of the Ark. Once all 3 generators have been deactivated, John 117 and the Arbiter breach the Citadel after Truth kills Miranda Keyes and forces Sergeant Major Avery Johnson to activate the rings. Upon execution, the Prophet of Truth, the forged alliance between the UNSC separatist forces, is broken, as their cause to eliminate the Covenant is complete. After John 117 and the Arbiter escape the Flood, they discover that a new Halo is being built to replace Installation 04, which is nearly complete. John 117 decides that the only way to destroy the Flood was to activate the newly built Halo, which was out of range of the other installations, with Cortana. The Arbiter leaves to gather the surviving forces and get them ready to leave, and John 117 heads to the crashed High Charity to recover Cortana. After waiting through Tantamount to Infinity of Flood, he recovers her and escapes to the new Halo with the Arbiter. After fighting their way up to the top of the control room, John 117 and the Arbiter enter the control room and attempt to activate the ring. However, 343 Guilty Spark attempts to stop John and Johnson from activating the ring, saying that the charging sequence of incomplete Halo will prove too much for the structure and cause it to tear itself apart. In the fight, 343 Guilty Spark mortally injures Johnson, but fails at killing Master Chief, whom destroys him with a Spartan laser. They succeed in activating the ring, however, as expected, the installation begins to fall apart. And once more, Master Chief makes an attempt to escape Installation 04 in a Warthog. The two board the Dawn, which then proceeds towards the portal. The Dawn heads into the portal just as Halo fires, which closes as it gets halfway through, shearing the Dawn in half. Half of the Dawn as well as the Arbiter crashes back on Earth, and a memorial service is held for those who perished in the Covenant Human War, ending on the note of John 117's death. At the end of the credits, a last cutscene shows that John 117 survived and put himself into cryosleep as Cortana activates a distress beacon. The rear half of Forward Onto Dawn is seen hurtling through space towards Requiem.